This is She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. Your host, Kinsey Roberts, interviews incredible women in the wedding industry who are making their mark and creating success on their terms. Join the conversation.
Well, hey there and happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 40 of She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. This is your host, Kinsey Roberts, and I am so excited to welcome Shalyce Tyson to the podcast today. Shalyce is a proud Marylander who enjoys planning and designing stylish, sophisticated, and sensational weddings and soirees throughout her local area and beyond. Since 2012, she's been pursuing her passion professionally through her company, Sensational Soirees. The best part of her job is connecting with her clients and bringing their dreams to reality. She also enjoys encouraging, supporting, and connecting with fellow creative moms in business through her role as the blog manager for the More community. The mantra, live, laugh, love, is how she approaches each day, and sharing her life with her husband and her two amazing kids is her greatest joy. Shalyce is, as she mentioned, the blog manager over at the More community, and we actually talk about that today. So we talk about how she manages her planning business, her full-time job, and her other creative pursuits. It's a really great conversation, and I'm so pleased to have her on. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Welcome to episode 40. I feel like it is a milestone, and without further ado, let's go to the show. Hey guys, welcome to She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. This is your host, Kinsey Roberts. Today, it is my great pleasure to bring to the show Shalyce Tyson. Shalyce is the planner and principal designer at Sensational Soirees. She's also the blog manager for the More community. I'm so pleased to have her here. What a privilege for me. Shalyce, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Kinsey. I'm so excited.
Me too. We were just saying offline, like we're kind of nervous, but we're excited. And so we were also talking about the Coterie retreat, which, I could just talk about like conferences and in-person events all day. So
yeah.
Yay. I'm so excited for everyone to get to know you better, Shalyce. So I gave everyone your professional bio at the top of the podcast, but I would love for you, in your own words, to just briefly tell us who you are and how you really serve the wedding industry.
Sure. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Shalyce. I'm a proud Marylander. I actually live in the Southern Maryland area, which is about 20 minutes from D.C., as well as Northern Virginia. So it's called the DMV, where I'm from. I'm also a mom of two. I have a 5-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter who are my heart.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I'm a wife. I'm a big dreamer. I'm an encourager. I'm a supporter. Let's see, what else about me? I love Target.
Yes.
Coffee addict, love Starbucks. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, tell us more about Sensational Soirees and your business.
Sure. So Sensational Soirees, we're a planning and design company, and we service the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. And I definitely would love the opportunity to do more destination events as well. I started the company in 2012, and that was about a few years after I actually got married. So everybody knows when you get married, you either love planning or you hate planning.
Yes.
And I was one of those people. I did hire a wedding planner, but I was so involved with the actual planning of my wedding. And I knew I was onto something kind of with that experience. But even prior to getting married, I actually worked at an event venue for a few years. So I've seen the planning sides of things. I've seen the venue side of things, the vendor side of things. So even before I started the company, I got to really see events and weddings kind of up close through those experiences. And I just loved everything about it, and really the opportunity to help others celebrate their special events. That just excited me. I'm in my personal life, I'm that friend, when you have a birthday party, I'm always going to be there. Whatever events you have, I'm always going to be there. I just love to celebrate. So my love for celebration, as well as kind of my organizational side and my creative side, really helped me to kind of open up Sensational Soirees in 2012. And I'm just so passionate about it and so excited, and it's my baby. It really is like a baby for me.
You seriously are like the wedding planner designer trifecta. You're like organized, but also a celebrator, but also love a party. It's perfect.
I love it all. I love it all.
That's awesome. Well, tell me, so I'm interested to know, really, like, what did Sensational Soirees look like 4 years ago and maybe like in the first year of business when you started? And how has it evolved to now? Like, do you offer different packages or what does that look like exactly?
Sure. It's definitely evolved from 2012.
Mm-hmm.
In 2012, I had a 1-year-old. I was working full time, and I'm actually still working full time. So for me, things didn't skyrocket right away with my business. I definitely had to do a lot of work-life balance as it relates to my business. So I wasn't the overnight sensation, but looking at it now, where I am and where I was then, I'm actually grateful that things didn't really skyrocket for me right away. It allowed me to really work hard, to really focus on education. Education has been so important for my business growth. So yeah, in the beginning, clients were not knocking down my door. So I had to get creative. I had to, reach out to family and friends, to kind of start with their events. And then, like I said before, education, it has been key. And with a couple of years of really focusing on education and, working with family and friends of family and friends, I really built a client base off of referrals. Referrals has been huge for me. So yeah, the little slow in the beginning, but it has really taken off to a place that makes me so proud, and I'm super excited for what's to come next. I know it's going to be even more than what it is now. So
yes, I agree. When would you say, if you could kind of pinpoint a time frame, when would you say that it started to kind of quote take off, or it felt that way?
I would say maybe about a year to a year and a half ago.
Okay.
When I really started to say, you know what, Shalyce, you have to invest more time into your business. As I said before, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I work full time. So I really, in those beginning years of my business, I invested a lot more on the family side and the work side, which is all great. But I realized, my business is a great help to my family as well. And it feeds me personally. So when mama is happy, babies are happy.
That's right.
Wife is happy, husband's happy. So, my family, they just love it. My son is always like, Mommy, what party are you working on now? When he sees me around the working on something. So yeah, I would say about a year to maybe a year and a half ago, I decided, hey, let's kind of do some webinars. Let's kind of, attend some conferences. Let's learn, what the disconnect is between where you are and where you want to be. And that has just been so helpful. So helpful. I can't even explain it.
That is helpful. Well, I wonder then, I assume that your blog and social media has something to do with that. And you really do. You blog regularly. You have a strong Instagram account. It's very cohesive and beautiful. And I wonder, could you kind of tell us like how your social media and your digital marketing fits into your business?
Sure. So as we all know, social media is huge. Mm-hmm. Everybody is on social media. And definitely for the wedding and events industry and really the creative industry, our clients, they're on social media. So, I realized if they're on social media, I need to be on social media as well, showing them who I am, showing them what I have. So for me, it's really been helpful to post on Instagram primarily, but I also do Facebook as well. But Instagram has really been helpful for me. If I'm not getting a client based upon a referral, they're coming from Instagram. So for me, I'm trying to post at least 5 times a week. And with those posts, as you said, I appreciate you saying that everything was cohesive, because really as creators, we want to make sure everything is cohesive. So yeah, really just making sure that my feed is showcasing who I am, what Sensational Soirees is all about, what you can expect to get from me. And additionally, with social media, another thing that's been really helpful is Facebook groups. That's been really good on the networking side of things. So like, I'm a big fan of Facebook groups. It's been great for me to like find new vendors through Facebook groups. It's just, social media is just essential for my business. And you had asked about blogging too, correct?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so blogging, that's really been a part of my business from the very start. I love to write. I'm a writer at heart. So the blog has been a really good avenue to like share my event recaps. So when people are coming to my website, they can kind of see previous events that I've done. I also share tips, wedding and event tips on there as well. I share business tips for, you know, other planners out there, different things that I'm using, different things that I like. And then I also share some of the personal things about me too. I think one of the things that has been helpful with my business is doing a really good balance of work and personal. At the end of the day, you know, we can all be good planners, but people want to work with people that they like. So I try to show who I am, so that way people can kind of try before they buy, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. Well, and there, you know, there's a lot of wedding planners, but there's only one Shalyce Tyson. You know what I mean? So there's only one of you. And if, and when they get to know you as a real person, I mean, you're going to be working with them for 6, 9, 12 plus months. I feel like that's a huge part of the wedding industry, especially as a planner, I would assume.
Definitely.
You know, I want to shine a light on something you said there. Yeah, you obviously are very passionate about writing and social media, but you did say that if your business isn't coming through referrals, so even though you have a really strong digital marketing game, you are still getting referrals. So really that like people to people business is still really impacting, you know, Sensational Soirees. Is that right?
Oh, totally. I would say a higher percentage of my clients are coming from referrals. It's like I build a relationship with the client, and then they're going on social media for me and saying, you know, hey, my wedding planner is the bomb. You know, you need to hire her. So yeah, referral is definitely a really big part of my business. And, you know, obviously I want to treat my clients well because it's a part of the sensational experience, but also with treating them well, they remember to, you know, take care of me and think back about me far after their event is passed.
That's right. And it's such a good testament that our, you know, blogging, social media, Instagram, all of that is so good. And it's definitely should be a leg of our business, but it's not going to replace building relationships like you are.
100% agree.
Okay. I wonder so you have brides, they're going on Instagram, shouting your praises, not surprising, of course. I already love you. Can you kind of tell me about the packages that you offer your brides? Like what kind of like planning and design packages do you offer?
Sure. So I kind of offer the 3 traditional that are kind of out there in wedding. So I do full service, and that's basically, you know, my most popular one. It's hands-on, you know, even though, you know, a lot of the brides that I work with, they have fantastic ideas and things of that nature, but they really want that professional partnership the entire time. They want somebody, you know, there to help them find the venue and the vendors and to put together and weave all the details together, as well as to kind of lay out the design, you know, of the event. So yeah, full service is definitely my most popular package. I do also offer partial, you know, for maybe that couple who already has their venue. They may already have the photographer, but they still need their professional assistance throughout the process. So I do have that service as well. And then I also do event management, you know, somebody that's got everything already taken care of, but, you know, they want the professional there to make sure that the wedding is executed, you know, to perfection. So
yeah. Do you find, and that's event management, is that all like day of coordination?
That's correct. And I actually call it month of coordination, but I'm actually moving away from that for 2017 to refer to it as event management.
Okay. Do you find that this is kind of a personal interest. I have a venue in Colorado, and we are going to require brides to have, at the very least, a day of coordinator, a month of coordinator. Do you find that you get referrals from venues, or is it mostly like the brides coming to you? How does that look for a day of coordination?
So I don't get much referrals from venues, but that's definitely something that I'm trying to work on in 2017 to, you know, build even more vendor relationships so that can happen. Yeah. But actually my pretty much my month ofs, they either come from vendor referrals. So like I got one this year from the photographer. She reached out to me and said, you know, hey, I have this bride, you know, she just needs a planner for month of, and that wedding was absolutely amazing. Usually planners are terrified of the idea of month of because they're like, oh my God, you know, things are not going to work out. You know, maybe they didn't do everything they were supposed to do, so I'm going to end up having to do more of partial work or full service anyway. But this particular bride, she really dotted all of her I's and crossed all of her T's. So that was an amazing month of experience. But yeah, it's either going to be a referral from a vendor, or it could be a referral from, someone that I know. I usually don't get month ofs from social media. That's going to be some type of a referral in my particular instance.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Do you, you're in the DMV area. You said that your full service package is the most popular. Do you think that's because it's like a very metropolis area, or why do you think that is?
I think, it's especially with the social media world, people, they're inundated with these beautiful images, and, it's a lot to take on. People are working, they just have so much going on. And for me, I just feel like with full service, they just feel more security than anything. That somebody has your back, from the whole time. You don't have to guess about the venues. Someone's going to send you an amazing list of the venues that, match what you're looking for. And that's kind of the way, that I explain it, even when I do consultations with, with couples. I really want them to understand, what they're getting with each package. So, that we can make the best fit. You don't have to do full service, but, if you don't, you should be a bride that's willing to find your venue or whatever the case may be, to do some of the legwork. And, there's some people who do enjoy doing that, which is fine. I love them just the same. But, it's just really educating them on what it all comes with so that they can make a educated decision.
Absolutely. Since you've been in business for over 4 years now, when you started to now, have the prices of your packages changed?
Drastically.
Okay. I wonder, what was that like? And what was it like to raise your prices? And when did you know was the right time to do it? I feel like that can be hard sometimes to know when is the right time or to feel comfortable with it.
It's extremely hard. I feel like a lot of times when people are starting out in business, you just kind of want to get business. So it's like any and everybody is your client. So you're pricing wrong. You're picking people that, you probably shouldn't even necessarily be working with. So yeah, my prices have definitely changed drastically. And I would really say, again, it goes back to education. Me really learning, oh my gosh, I'm doing things wrong. This is not the standard price, for wedding planning purposes. Pricing myself, much lower than, probably other people at the time were. So yeah, it's really education. Getting vendor friends, that's important as well, because, when you have other planner friends, you can talk, well, hey, what are you charging? Well, hey, this is what I'm charging. So that way we can all raise the bar in terms of the industry standard of what pricing should be. Absolutely. So yeah, education has been key. And I think too, in the beginning, people are fearful. You say to yourself, well, what experience do I have, to be able to charge this person that? And I do think it takes time, you shouldn't necessarily come out the gate, charging on the higher end of things. You do have to work your way up. But I was charging much lower than I should have ever. But yeah, this past year has been amazing. I've been charging my worth, and it's been, working out fantastically for me. And it makes my husband so much happy.
Sure. Oh man, I understand that. Oh, well, I appreciate you sharing that, like sharing honestly about your pricing structure and everything. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think it's so important. We're all there. We've all been there, like not charging our worth, or maybe feeling like the pressure to raise our prices, but not knowing if we can or not. So thank you for sharing that and being so open with that information.
No problem.
Well, and you're welcome, hubby, and also thank you. Well, it's very clear that you are passionate about what you do. You said at the beginning of the interview that you are an encourager, and I completely see that. And so I wanted to ask you about your mentorship program, which you just started in 2016. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Can you tell us about your mentorship program? And, if we're mentoring with you, kind of what can your planners expect?
Sure. So I actually, started thinking about the idea of mentorship. I guess it was a little over a year ago, when I actually got my first invitation for a business speaking engagement. So I was so surprised. Yeah, I was so surprised. I'm like, oh, wow, somebody wants to hear me for their conference. So I was, super excited about that. And what I spoke about, it went over so well. People had tons of questions and, just really good feedback. So, it was definitely really good validation for me, well, hey, maybe I should think more about, this whole education piece and incorporating that into my business. So from there, I began to get a lot more business questions from like acquaintances. And I've also been sharing business tips on my blog, as well as some other blogs as well. And they've all done really well in terms of, the information that I've shared. So I'm like, hey, I'm onto something here. Maybe this is something that I need to add into my business. And so I did. I just took a leap and I did it. So what I offer is one-on-one mentorship, and it's for it's kind of like 3 categories. And actually, how I even determined this, I wrote 2 posts. Was it last year? Yeah, I think it was. No, one was last year and one was this year, for the Rising Tide Society. I'm sure everybody's pretty much familiar with them, but they went over extremely well. And one of the posts that I wrote for them was running a business while raising a family. Mm-hmm. And then the other I wrote was running a business while working full time. And those two topics kind of really mirrored for me what I needed my education platform to look like. So what I have, it's for the one-on-one mentorship. It's for aspiring planners, those who are interested in becoming a planner, but you have no idea where to start. I want to kind of help those people get off to a much better start than perhaps I did. And then the other area of that is for business owners who've been in business, well, planners rather, who've been in business for 3 years or less, who also work full time, because that's kind of my area of where I can kind of provide expertise. And then also to moms who are planners. I'm a mom, and I'm balancing it all. And a lot of times, we just kind of need to talk through things with somebody else who, may appear as though they're doing it so well, to hear, well, hey, I have this struggle sometimes too. Or, also, hey, here's how I overcame that challenge that you have. So those are kind of the 3 areas that I provide mentorship on. And I've been doing it now for a couple months. And the feedback that I received so far it was just validation that it was time for me to do this. So I'm super excited about it. To be able to help others. It was definitely something that I would have wanted in the beginning, so I want to be that resource to others now. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I'm sure 2017 has a lot. It's like holding a lot for you in that area. Do you have like? I'll get to that question later. Okay, I can't ask it yet. Okay, a couple of questions. There was like a couple of gold nuggets in there. First of all, when you were telling us about your the guest post that you did for the Rising Tide Society and how that became the model for your one-on-one mentorship, I think that is a huge testament to repurposing your content.
Yes,
and so smart. How did you decide to? How did you decide to go back to those blog posts and say, gee, these would be great one-on-one spots? Tell me more about that.
Because I reached out to them. It wasn't even something that they reached out to me about. I reached out to them, and it was just something that was on my heart. I'm like, it has to be other people in this group who are running their business, while raising their family. And at the time, this was the first post of that kind, even on their site. So it went over really well because people weren't really talking too much about family in the group at that time. So it went over really, really well. And then even the full-time aspect of it, a lot of times people, are planners and they work full time, which is absolutely amazing. But there are also some of us, who do also work a full time job. So I didn't want those people to feel alone. I wanted them to know, hey, I'm right there with you. And, it is possible. Sometimes it may have its challenges, but it's possible to do both well. So even with writing those posts, everything, it just came so fluid in terms of my writing. It just, I was so into it and it came very easy. And to me, whenever things can come easy to you, that's where you're an expert at. That's where, it's kind of your niche. So I wanted to really just go full throttle with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so smart. Okay. The other thing that you said that I kind of wanted to circle back to was that right before you started mentoring, you had a speaking opportunity come to you and they reached out to you, right?
They did. I was like, yes.
Yes. See, and I think that is so huge because you were just, doing the thing. Like you were just doing the work, doing the thing, being passionate about it and, encouraging all over the place. And then you got this opportunity. So I just wanted to point that out because sometimes you just need to do the work like you were doing, in order to get those rewards. So I just wanted to point that out that you said that. So I think that's incredible. Also, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, let's talk about, I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. You are also the blog manager for the More community. And that's, yay! And that's MOR. And I'll have that link in the show notes along with everything else that Shalyce is talking about today. But so in addition to being a wife and a mom, a full-time worker and a planner, which is probably another full-time job, you are a blog manager. So tell us about the More community. What is it and how do you serve them and how did you get that position?
Sure. So the More community is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it, but it's amazing. It's a community that was established for creative moms in business, really to kind of equip and enable us with, just a variety of practical resources. And we definitely have a focus on, moms who are looking to achieve more balance between, their life as well as their business. Mm-hmm. And we really want to, kind of rally around each other and support one another and encourage each other. And, the best way to do that sometimes is just being transparent, letting other people know, hey, I'm right there with you. It's not just you, running that business and raising that family. I'm right there with you. So that's really what our community is about. We have a private Facebook group for creative moms and businesses where we can, chat about things. We can ask each other questions, advice. We even share recipes on there. Hey, what are you cooking this week?
Nice.
So it's just really just a great community, that's there for each other when we need each other. It's not really something that you have to go in there and talk every day, but it's just something, that's there for, that particular area of moms, who are planners or florists or, just in the creative community, who want to have that community with other moms just like them.
Oh, and can anyone join that community, Shalyce?
If you're a creative mom in business, yes.
Creative mom in business, okay.
For our makers, for our planners, for our photographers, graphic, anybody. Creative is such a broad term nowadays. So if you consider yourself to be creative, you're a mama, and you have a business, we welcome you with open arms.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So tell us more specifically about being the blog manager. What does that mean, and what does that entail on a kind of a daily basis?
Sure. So actually, so LaKoya Heggie, she's our founder, and Chrissy McKee, she's our community director. So I had been in the group, since it first launched. When I started on Instagram, I'm like, yes, when that group opens, I'm there. This is what I need. So I was actually a member before I even joined the team. So they put out a call, I guess that was in about July, maybe June. They put out a call for, a position for blog manager. And, as I said before, I love to write. So I'm like, wow, this might be perfect for me. Let me apply. So I did. I interviewed for the position, and I got it. So basically, what the blog manager does, it's my responsibility to source out content that we can use for our blog. So I'm reaching out, to people in the creative industry who I think can pour into us, on a variety of topics. So I reach out to them and, kind of request content from them. I receive content too, because if people go on our website, you can, submit to be a part of the blog. So I receive all of those submissions, and, I source through those. And if it's a right fit, I publish it from there. And then I also write content as well. So, I kind of have like a 3-part role there as it relates to the blog manager.
Ah, that's awesome. And it sounds fun, too, because you're just with a group of women who are kind of doing the same thing.
Yes.
I love it.
That's fun.
I didn't know LaKoya Heggie was one of the founders. I think that she was a speaker, right, for Fall for Creative?
Yes,
that's right. Oh, my gosh, that's so cool.
Yep.
Okay. Amazing. Okay. So the More community, guys, if you are a creative mom in business and you are craving community, I can't think of a better place.
Yes, definitely. We'd love to have you.
Well, these are my favorite questions because I'm obsessed with knowing what people use to manage their business and all of the behind the scenes stuff. So could you tell me, or would you, the tools that you use to manage, and these could be tech or otherwise, doesn't matter, to help manage your business, projects, blog manager at the More community, all those things?
Sure. Well, for my business, probably number one is 17 hats. I love 17 hats. 17 hats is everything to me.
Is 17 hats your work wife?
Yes, that it is. I love 17 hats. It helps me with the bookkeeping, with the invoicing, but even just like the client management side of things. I really take full advantage of everything that 17 hats offers. So that would probably be my number one. Let's see what else. Owl planner, that's extremely helpful for me in terms of wedding planning, and my clients love it. And for those who aren't familiar with Owl planner, probably most people are, but for the planners in the group, it's a really great tool for planning. You can store guest lists in there. You can do the full wedding checklist. You can do the budget, which is a really important one that my clients love. It just has so much great functionality, and it's pretty. I like systems that are pretty.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so I love Owl Planner. And I also use Basecamp. I use Basecamp for the More community. That's actually how I was even introduced to it, because LaCoya, she created a Basecamp account for the More community. So we do like our content calendar on there, different, discussion topics that we want to talk about or what have you. We do all of that on Basecamp. So I opened up a Basecamp for Sensational Soirees as well. And I use that for my event clients. So
Nice.
so I do wedding planning clients with Owl Planner, and then Basecamp for event clients. And what else? I like Canva. I really, really like Canva. It it really helps me to kind of create things for like maybe blog headings or
Yes.
different documents I want to send out to a client, so I can make them look really polished and professional. So I love Canva. And what else? For social media, Later. It used to be called Latergram, but now it's called Later. I love that. It really helps me to schedule out some of my social media posts in advance. If I already know, what content I want to put out there for that particular week or that particular day. So it's really helpful rather than to, just post every day, just kind of sporadically. I can kind of think about it and be more intentional with what I want to put out there. So I love Later.
Yeah, we've heard that a lot. That's for, doesn't that have a grid you can see, so you can kind of see how your Instagram is going to look?
Yeah, and that's why it's like, even if I won't necessarily post the post in Later, like maybe I'll do it later. That's too many later.
I see what you did there. I'm just kidding.
Laters. But you get the point. But yeah, it allows me to kind of see, how things are going to look, so I can make sure, that everything looks really cohesive and clean. So
Yes. Well, what are two, and if this is non-business, that'll be fun. What are two things that you're absolutely loving right now?
Okay, so you mentioned at the beginning that I went to the Coterie retreat,
Yes.
which was amazing. So yeah, I'm trying to remember who told me about the app. It might have been Cece Johnson. I think it was Cece, and I hope it was Cece Johnson. But I think she was the one who mentioned the Toggle app when we were at the retreat. So basically what that is, it's an app where you can keep track of, the time that you're working on a project. So I just downloaded it when I was at the retreat. And so I'm going to use that going forward, when I'm working on a particular project for my clients. It will help me keep track of my hours so much better now versus, any other way. So it's right on your phone. It's called the Toggle app. It's TOGGL. So I'm loving that right now. That's like a godsend. What else am I loving? I love Project Runway.
Yes.
It's the season finale is coming up soon. So, but yeah, I'm loving Project Runway. That's one of my guilty pleasures, and it's Christmas time, so I'm loving that.
Yay. And obviously Target, of course.
Of course.
That always gets love.
Oh my goodness. The sugar paper boxes. I've already got a boatload of those for my clients to wrap up their little holiday goodies. So yeah.
Yes. That whole sugar paper line this year, this 2016 year, oh my gosh, that holiday line. I was like, get out of here. Just take my money.
I know, just take it all. I went in there for I think a couple ornaments, and I came out with boatloads of those boxes, the paper, the ribbon. I'm like, this is just not good.
Yes, exactly. You're like, oh, I think I'll get some gummy bears. Just kidding. I'm going to buy the entire stationery aisle.
Right.
Oh, funny. Well, Shalyce, as we wrap up here, I would love to know what's on the horizon for you and for Sensational Soirees in 2017. What are you excited about?
I'm just excited for the new year. You know, right now for wedding planners, we're in engagement season. So I'm just so excited to, you know, hear about these new couples proposals and, you know, meet the new brides and who will be coming my way. So I'm super excited about that. I'm definitely excited about mentoring. You know, as I said, something I rolled out recently, so I'm super excited for where that's headed. And I'm actually thinking about doing a monthly newsletter too, in conjunction kind of with mentoring, just like a business newsletter. So I'm excited about rolling that out. And this has been amazing talking with you today. So I'm excited for maybe even more podcasts or, you know, speaking opportunities next year. So I'm just excited.
Yes, this has been so fun for me too. It has been just a riot. Like, you're a great interviewer, so you should definitely be on the lookout for other podcasts because they would love to have you. I know that for sure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You are so welcome. And Shalyce, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was really my pleasure to have you here, and I just really appreciate your time.
Oh, no, thank you so much. It was pleasure was mine.
You're welcome. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you so much for listening to She Creates Business. Please take a minute and head to iTunes to leave an honest review so we can help more wedding pros find the show.